Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We're Screwed. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, Old Boy James Ash and Andy Andrews. How y'all doing?
Pretty
Doing
fucking
good,
good.
doing good.
Feels pretty good to be back. We were off for a week for Thanksgiving, my birthday. Both very big celebrations. Not really. I didn't do shit for my birthday, dude. I sat around and watched movies, which was glorious. Watched the new Beetlejuice. Everybody's bitching about the new Beetlejuice. I liked it. I thought it was all right. It was just really, really good to see Beetlejuice again. You know what I mean? To see Winona Ryder back, to see uh, Michael Keaton back as Beetlejuice. It was really, it could have been a better movie, I guess, but it was good enough. I enjoyed it. I just wish it would have been like 30 years or whatever the hell it was in between. That kind of sucked. But anyway, there's a lot of shit that's been going on. Everybody's talking about Biden pardoning his son. We'll get into that a little bit tonight. I got a kind of a different take on that, I guess, than most people would probably expect from me. There's also some other stuff going on that we'll talk about. So let's start with the Biden pardon his son thing. First of all, so what? Everybody fucking knew. I mean, don't pretend like it's some big shock. Everybody knew it was going to happen. And think about it. You'd have done the same damn thing, really. If it was your kid, of course you're going to pardon your kid. You're not going to let your kid go to jail if you can help it, But I don't think that it's for the reason everybody thinks it is. That's the twist on this, I think. I don't think it's just that Biden's this good guy and loves his kid and he don't want his kid to go to jail because he's a good dad, right? I've heard that said by liberals. Uh, I think that's horseshit. Because first of all, you don't put your son in the position that he put Hunter in if you love your kid. If you're some great dad, you're not going to have a child who's addicted to crack who you are using to take bribes while you're the vice president and then later the president, right? That's not something you're going to do to your kid. You're not going to put him in that position if you love your kid. If you're a great dad, you're not going to be showering with your daughter all the way up to her teenage days. Yeah, that's verified from her diary in court records. You can go look it up. He's a sick fuck. Biden is a piece of garbage. Okay, so he didn't do this out of the kindness of his heart because he's some great guy. He did this to cover his own ass because he's afraid that if all of this stuff goes forward, that they're going to get into Burisma, they're going to get into all of the stuff that Hunter was doing to take the bribes for Joe. That's what that was. And it's not just Hunter. If you look at it, there's a lot of people in the Biden family that have gotten money. So it's not just Hunter. It's a lot of his family that he used in this way. And if you look at the pardon itself, he went all the way back to 2014, all the way up to now, 10 years, right? What was going on in 2014? Who was president in 2014? Obama was president in 2014. Joe Biden was vice president. 2014 also, coincidentally, is the year that Hunter Biden got on the board of Burisma over there in the Ukraine. Now, remember, the Democrats have been telling us this whole time that's all horseshit. Nothing to that story. It's nonsense. Nothing was wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. There was no laws broken, no bribes taken, nothing happened. It was all a conspiracy theory, right? That's what they told us. Now, if there's no laws broken and it's all a conspiracy theory, why did you have to issue a pardon going back to 2014? Having anything to do with Burisma. Why did you put that in there if it's bullshit? If there were no laws broken, what exactly are you pardoning them for? See, they don't answer that question, do they? They pretend like, oh, it was just political persecution, as if, first of all, they weren't doing that to Trump this whole fucking time, right? But also, oh, it's just political. It's the Republicans are going after him. Okay, but if there's no crime committed, what are you pardoning? So right there, you're admitting that he committed crimes. And if you look at the time period, like I said, all the way back to 2014, that's when his daddy was vice president. That's when the whole pay for play bribe scandal shit was happening over in the Ukraine with Burisma, right? That's also when Biden did that thing where if you don't fire the prosecutor that's looking into my son, then you're not going to get the $1 billion in U.S. aid. Remember that clip? That's when that shit happened too. It's around that same time period. So why does a pardon have to go back to 2014? And why does it cover all crimes he may have committed in a 10-year span? What that tells you is it wasn't just Burisma. It wasn't just that one time. It goes all the way up till yesterday when we're recording this. Yesterday or the day before yesterday is when the pardon goes all that 10-year period. So what's he been doing since Biden's been president? That means he's been breaking the law then too, isn't it? See, people don't think about that. But the reason he pardoned him was not because he loves his son. The reason he pardoned him is to try to cover his ass and to try to cover Obama's ass. Because let's pretend in a perfect world, right? Let's pretend Obama had nothing to do with it. Obama was this great guy who was just trying to be president. And here comes crooked ass Joe along, taking bribes and doing illegal shit, using his son to collect the money, right? And Obama just happened to be president during that time. Okay, well, first of all, Joe asked Obama if he could be in charge of Ukraine because he knew it was lucrative and he could take bribes from there. So Obama let him, right? But let's even pretend that Obama didn't know. That Obama didn't know why Joe wanted to be head of Ukraine. He said, okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, let's pretend that. Even if that's the case, once they started doing it, Obama knew. And we know Obama knew. Because remember that thing that Biden was saying about the $1 billion? Because they told Biden when he told him that, and he told it when he told the story. They said, well, you're not the president. You can't withhold $1 billion of aid to us. And what did Biden say? Call him. Call him. He'll tell you. That means Obama knew damn well that Biden was holding that $1 billion in U.S. aid illegally to get a prosecutor fired that was looking into his son. Now, why would the prosecutor be looking into his son? Because he was taking bribes for Joe. So either way you cut it, Obama knew and did nothing. He covered it up. If he wasn't actively in on it, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he wasn't, he at least covered it up. And why would he cover it up? What was going on in 2015 when all of this broke and became public? Remember, they leaked this shit to the Washington Post, somebody did. And they reported on it in 2015. So then the public knew about it. So why did they lie about it? Why did they cover it up? Well, 2015 was the presidential election between Hillary and Trump. And they didn't want the Democrats to look bad because they didn't want Hillary to lose. So they actively covered it up, which is a crime. Okay, so pardoning Hunter Biden is not the end of this shit. It's not going to make this go away. They're hoping that if they stop looking into Hunter, they'll stop looking into the whole thing. That's the hope. But it's not going to work. And here's another thing that they didn't think about. Hunter can now testify against them. When they go after Joe and they go after Barack Obama and they go after whoever they go after on this shit, if they do, they can call Hunter Biden to testify in court. And see, old Hunter Biden, he can no longer use the Fifth Amendment. He can no longer say, I refuse to testify. I take my Fifth Amendment right on the grounds that it might incriminate me. Now, why can he not do that anymore? Because now he's been given a pardon. So there's no chance of him going to jail for it. So he can't incriminate himself because there's no penalty. So if he's compelled to testify, if he's subpoenaed, he has to testify. Now, he can get up there and refuse to testify. He can get up there and lie. In which case, they'll get him for obstruction. They'll get him for perjury. And his ass will go to jail. Pardon don't cover that because it ain't happened yet. So that's something that these people probably didn't think about, didn't figure. That, shit, now they can call Hunter to the stand. And he's either going to rat your ass out to save himself, or he's going to fall on his sword and go to jail anyway. Kind of interesting, huh? Either way you cut it, it's dirty. And it's dirty, too, because the Democrats, this whole time they've been going after Trump with bullshit charges, taking him to court, trying to throw him in jail, all that stuff, just so they can try to make him look bad so they can win an election. This whole time, they've been up on their high horse, saying we're fighting for democracy. We're trying to save democracy. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in the justice system. Trump doesn't. Trump thinks he's above the law. Nobody's above the law. How many times did you hear these Democrats say that? Nobody is above the law. Well, apparently Hunter's above the law. And apparently Joe thinks he's above the law. They don't give a shit about the law. They took the wall like this, right? They took it, they crumpled it up, they pulled their pants down, they wiped their ass with it, and threw it away. That's what they did. Biden said over and over and over again, when asked directly, are you going to pardon your son? Are you going to pardon Hunter? Over and over again, he said, no, I will not do it. Because I will not go against what a jury says. I believe in the rule of law. I will not do it. Over and over and over again, he said that. Now, he knew damn well when he said that he was going to pardon him. And I don't begrudge him pardoning him, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it. I'd have done it. If my boy was going to jail, I don't give a shit if he did it. I don't care if my boy was an axe murderer and done axe murdered like 100 fucking people. If I'm president of the United States, my boy's not going to jail. I'm going to pardon him. Right? So I don't begrudge Biden pardoning his son. But he lied to all of you. Straight up to your fucking face, he knew he was going to do this. Now, the reason he lied to you is because at the time, when they asked him, he was still running. And he thought he was going against Trump. And if he would have admitted he was going to pardon Hunter, then that would have looked bad and people wouldn't have voted for him. That was his figure. So he lied because he was trying to run for president again. And the political aspect of it, he didn't want it to look bad. That's why he lied. But the whole time he knew damn well he was going to pardon his son. And I think it probably even goes deeper than that. It's probably even worse than that, because I think that they intentionally allowed Hunter to be indicted just so that they could say, look, you guys are complaining about Trump getting indicted for all this stuff, but look, we're fair. We did it to Hunter too. Nobody's above the law. If you commit a crime, you're going to be charged and you're going to go to jail. Look, we're doing it to Hunter. I think it was all a ploy. They didn't indict Hunter on the Burisma stuff. They didn't indict Hunter on the FARA violations for acting as an agent to a overseas power, which is what that is. That is way worse than what he actually got charged with. He got charged with lying on a gun application and not paying his taxes. That's nothing. Yes, they're felonies. I understand that, but it's nothing compared to the life in prison that he will get for Burisma and all that. They didn't even open that can of worms because it incriminates them as well. They just indicted him on little things, knowing damn well that they were going to pardon him, that there was no way he was ever going to jail. But they used it as a way to justify the bullshit they were doing to Donald Trump, to try to legitimize it and say, look, we're fair. We're doing it to both sides. That's all this was. It was horse shit from the very beginning. We told you it was horse shit long ago. But now we're really seeing the extent of the horse shit. So my question to Democrats is, how many times, man, are they going to lie to your face and you're just going to believe them? At what point do you wake the fuck up and realize you're being lied to? They lied right to your face. They lied about Biden. They told you Biden was fine. When we said this dude is out of his fucking mind, he's got dementia or something. Something's wrong with this dude. He's not capable of doing the job. When we told you that, what'd they say? Oh, that's bullshit. That's a conspiracy theory. Biden's fit. He's strong. He's wonderful. He's this. He's so sharp. He's great. He's smart. All this shit they said. But then they replaced him when they didn't think he could win with Kamala. Then all of a sudden, oh, he can't run again because he's just crazy. He's all fucked up in the head. He's got mush in his mind. They just conveniently don't say that, hey, these guys were right. We've been lying to you the whole time. No, they don't say that, but that's what they were doing. Speaking of them lying to you, another thing that happened when we were off is our wonderful Congress had a House Select Committee doing some really, really in-depth investigation. Boy, they were in there researching. Boy, they had the books out, the magnifying glasses like Sherlock Holmes. They were figuring some shit out. Now, what did they figure out? Well, they figured out shit we told you like 4 years ago. They figured out that the virus that started the worldwide pandemic the COVID, actually came from the Institute of Virology in Wuhan. Just like we said, it didn't come from a penguin having sex with a bat or whatever ridiculous bullshit they tried to pull from the wet market. It didn't come from that at all. It came from the place that was making the damn virus in Wuhan. Just like we said. They came up with that. They said, we've proven this now. So good job. 4 years late, but good job. They also found that wearing masks, remember the masks? You had to put that shit on your face, and we told you from the very beginning it's nonsense. I've already been through explaining it 100 times why it's nonsense. I told you the day they started talking about it that it was bullshit. And I explained why. And I was put in Facebook jail, and I was unfriended, and I was called a conspiracy theorist, and I got my fucking channel demonetized on YouTube. All this bullshit happened to me for saying what now, 4 years later, the House Select Committee has came out and said that mask and social distancing has been proven to have absolutely no scientific basis, which means it's all bullshit. They were lying the whole fucking time. And old Fauci's like, oh, I don't know. It just kind of happened. Like, social distancing just kind of happened. Nobody told them to do that. Nobody told them masks work. They just started doing it. Bullshit, man. You told us. Your little elf-looking, gnome-looking, goblin-looking ass. You sat there on TV with your big fucking Alfred E. Newman ears. Talking about, I wear 2, 3, I wear 4 masks. That's what you said, you dickhead. You think I don't remember you? Just because you're tiny don't mean I can't see your ass. I seen you on TV saying it. You're a lying little prick. But that's what they did. The House Select Committee figured out where the virus came from finally after we told you 4 years ago, and they figured out that masks don't work and social distancing don't work. Which means every one of them liberal dipshits that was yelling at you and talking shit to you, every time the hospital wouldn't let you in if you weren't wearing a mask, every time they put them stupid arrows, remember those arrows in the grocery store? As if you were walking the wrong way, oh, you're fucked. COVID's going to get you if you're walking the wrong way. But as long as you're following an arrow, COVID knows you're following an arrow, so it's not going to fuck with you at all. It says, oh, no, don't mess with that guy. He's following an arrow. And he's 6 foot away from the guy beside him, so we can't mess with him. It was all nonsense. Do you realize that the spread pattern of a sneeze or a cough is not 6 feet? It's 60 feet. So if you truly want to try to keep people safe, you got to social distance by 60 feet at least. How the hell is that going to work at the grocery store? It ain't. It's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. And they knew it was bullshit, and now they're finally coming out and saying it was bullshit. So go look that up if you want to laugh. I mean, it doesn't really serve any public good anymore because we're past that point already, and everybody already knows. But it's fun to point it out sometimes. And look, we told you this shit long ago, and you guys mocked us. You put us in Facebook jail. You did all kinds of horrible shit to us. People lost their jobs over this shit. Wait till the information comes out about the shot. Wait till you find out about all the myocarditis, all the blood clots. Wait till you find out about all that shit. Oh man, it's going to be crazy. And they force you to get that shit. People lost their jobs for not getting that. I never got it because nobody can make me do anything, really. Like, I don't have to worry about getting fired from a job. So what are you going to do to me to make me take that shit? I ain't taking that shit. I know better. I worked in science. I understand how it works. I'm not putting that shit in my body. You're a crazy person if you put anything in your body that ain't been properly tested. I don't give a shit what it is. And you can't tell me that they crammed years and years worth of human clinical trials into a month. Bullshit. They did some animal testing. Did y'all know about that? That they did some testing on mice? And guess what they found in every case? Not occasionally, not once in a while. Every single time they found that damn shot didn't do nothing. It didn't help at all. Not in mice. But I reckon they figured, hey, what the hell, let's do it anyway. Maybe it'll work in humans. Now, there's a lot more to that story that you're going to find out later, and it's going to piss you off. Not only that they knew it didn't work from the beginning, that it didn't do anything to stop it. Not even a little bit. Everybody knows that now. That's proven. But that's not the only thing. There's more. It was intentionally designed to hurt you. They used parts of the AIDS virus in that sumbitch. Wait till y'all find out all the shit. Y'all gonna be madder than hell. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you it all because you're just gonna call me a damn liar anyway. I know that game. I've played this game with you fuckers before. I ain't doing it again. I ain't gonna try to tell you something that ain't public knowledge and then you all tell me I'm full of shit and talk all this shit on me and then years later it comes out I'm 100% correct. But by that point, it don't fucking matter because the people who called me this shit ain't listening no more anyway. They should be because if they were listening, they'd know more. Because I was 100% right about all this shit. I ain't tooting my own horn or none of that bullshit. I'm not that guy. I'm just saying, if you don't know, maybe you ought to shut the fuck up. How about that? I'm so sick of people that don't know nothing telling me shit all the time. When I'm trying to warn you, hey, don't fucking listen to that. Don't do that. That's going to hurt you. And you dumb shits are sitting there running your mouth to me. You don't fucking know anything. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no background at all in it. You don't even understand the science, and you're blabbing your mouth about trust the science. Bitch, I'd be surprised if you can fucking spell science, some of you dipshits. I ain't talking to you people listening now. You're all perfect. I love all of you. I'm talking about them assholes on Facebook and Twitter and all over the fucking place that were running their mouth constantly. Them stupid dickheads that unfriended me and shit, that know me in real life, that unfriended me. Know me in real life. Know damn well I'm the smartest fucking person they ever met in their life. They know me. They know I'm way smarter than they are. Shit, half them idiots are over there eating paste in the corner. And they're going to unfriend me and talk shit to me about it. About trust the science. Bitch, you don't know the science. I tried to explain the science to you, but you don't understand it. My favorite one was when they were talking about the peeing on the leg. You remember that shit? The peeing on the leg thing when they were talking about it with the mask. Well, if you put that piss on your leg, it didn't make any fucking sense. And I'd say, well, what does that mean? I know you're repeating it because you heard somebody else say it, but what the fuck does it mean? Not one of them could ever explain it because they didn't fucking know. They were just repeating some dumb shit they heard from somebody else. So it's very simple. If you can breathe through the fucking thing, it ain't stopping a virus. The weave pattern, 60 microns. Virus size, 1 micron. It ain't stopping shit. Okay, so House Select Committee came up with that groundbreaking fucking news. Wow, great, huh? Another thing I want to talk about real quick. FBI. The FBI, our favorite assholes. Fuck the FBI. But check this out. Kash Patel is going to be the new FBI director when Trump gets in. How fucking cool is that, guys? That's amazing. Kash Patel is one of the guys, one of the kick-ass guys. You know what I mean? The good guys that is going to help clean this shit up. You know, and that's exciting as hell to me to have him in that position. You know, they say he's not qualified. All this shit. That dude's been a federal prosecutor. He's been in charge of all kinds of shit, man. We know most of the shit we know about the Russia hoax and all that because of Kash Patel. I would argue there ain't many people that are more qualified than that motherfucker to be in that position. You know, but that's what you're hearing. You're hearing a lot of nonsense from the Democrats again. They're coming out, they're running their mouth about every fucking person that Trump has nominated, and it's mostly bullshit. You know, they run their mouth about fucking Tulsi Gabbard all the time. They're running their fucking mouth about RFK all the time. They're running their mouth about Kash Patel. They're running their mouth about everybody. But it ain't going to stop what's happening. You know, we're fixing this fucking country. We're putting it back the way it's supposed to be. And there ain't nothing the Democrats going to do about it. See, the problem with the Democrats, and God love you, man, I feel sorry for some of you. Some of you I don't. Some of you are evil bastards who know exactly what you're doing, and you're evil communist pricks. And I don't feel sorry for you at all. Fuck you. What I feel sorry for is the dumb people. The people that they're being lied to, and they're just not quite bright enough to figure it out. You know, you always know the difference between these people. Because the people that I'm talking about, the dumb people that just don't quite know what they're talking about, and they're being lied to, and they can't quite figure out how they're being lied to. Those are the people you see coming on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and making all these videos during the election talking about Trump's going to take away our rights. Trump's taking away our rights. Taking away our rights, our human rights, all this bullshit, right? And it's especially centered around women because it's about abortion. As if somehow Trump is going to take away your human rights, even if he says you can't kill your baby, right? But it's all nonsense because he was already president once. We all saw it. We were here for it. What right did you lose? None. What exact right are you worried that he's going to take away? See, they can't ever answer those questions. Not with a straight face. He didn't take away none of your fucking rights. He ain't going to take away none of your rights this time. Matter of fact, you got more rights under Trump than you do under Democrats. Because Democrats are the ones that won't let you speak freely. Democrats are the ones that want to take away your right to own a weapon and protect your family. Democrats are the ones that want to tell you what you can do, what you can think, what you can eat, what you can breathe, what you can learn. They want to control everything about you. Now, I don't know how to get through to those people. I don't know how. I've tried for years. I've tried explaining it in detail over and over and over again to those people, and they just I don't understand how to reach them. I don't know if they're incapable of understanding or if they just won't listen. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. But I think it's a lost cause. I've gotten to the point in my life where it's just not worth it anymore to me. I'll gladly explain anything to anybody that wants to learn something. But it's like trying to teach astrophysics to a gerbil. Now, you might have the best intentions in the world, and you might be patient, and you might explain it in the most simple way you can possibly explain it. That gerbil's still not going to understand quantum physics. They're just not. They don't have the capacity. The intellectual capacity is not there. And I think with some Democrats, it's the same way. I hate to say that. I just don't understand how you can live in this world, watch the news, even the news you watch, right? Let's say you watch nothing but CNN or MSNBC, the liberal bullshit where they lie to you all the time. Let's say that's all you watch. Even then, how do you watch that? Watch them sit there and talk about that Russia bullshit for years. And then they do an impeachment, they do investigations, they do all this shit. And what does Mueller, the guy who was in charge of the investigation, what does he say when he gets done with it? There's absolutely no evidence that Trump colluded with Russia. So how do you, with a straight face and an open mind, say Trump colluded with Russia? How do you, in your right mind, say these people didn't just lie to me? Of course they fucking lied to you. Over and over and over and over again, they've lied to you. And I just don't see how they don't see it. How do you not understand that they're lying to you? The only thing I can think, and Andy can talk about this a little bit too, because he's got a similar background, with the Bible and religion as I do. The only thing I can think is in the book of Revelations, they talk about the end times. Now, it's not just the book of Revelation. They also talk about it in Daniel and several other books of the Bible. But they talk about how in the end times, men's hearts will be hardened, and their eyes will be blinded, their ears covered, so they can't even recognize the truth, right? Maybe that's what we're dealing with here, man. Maybe there's a lot of signs saying that this could be reaching the end times. A lot of stuff has already happened that's supposed to have happened. Mainly Israel becoming a nation again. That happened and it got restored like in the 40s, but it got restored to its full borders like in 67 or something. So the Bible says that once that happens, that generation will not pass away before the end times come, before the Son of Man comes back, Jesus Christ. So if you look at that, I mean, we're on 60 years? Almost 60 years from that point? So we're getting there. A generation is about 75 years usually. So not that much longer. It has to be in that time frame. So it could be that we are getting towards the end times here. And maybe that's what we're dealing with, is that people's hearts are hardened and their eyes are covered and they can't see or recognize the truth anymore. That's the only thing I can think of, because I don't even understand how a stupid person couldn't see that they've been lied to over and over and over again. And even a stupid person knows that if you lie to me over and over and over, I'm not going to believe what you say anymore. I mean, I know a lot of people. I know some smart people. I know some stupid people. But even the very dumbest people that I know, if I go up and I lie to them 4 or 5 times, they're not going to listen to me anymore at all. They're going to say, man, fuck you. You lied to me over and over again. So what the hell's going on? How do they not see it? It doesn't make any sense. And you see these same people still online arguing the same shit that's been disproven over and over and over again. But they still say it. And it does you absolutely no good to say, you realize that what you're saying has been disproven over and over and over, right? And you can share, look, here's all these links, boom, 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 boom. All news stories. And we're not talking Fox News, we're not talking Wall Street Journal, New York Times, look, your paper saying that this is bullshit, and you're still saying it. Doesn't even faze them. Doesn't even fucking faze them. They just right past them. And they just keep on going. I don't get it, man. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So, to sum up, all this crazy shit I just talked about. Biden's a prick, trying to cover his and Obama's ass. Showered with his daughter. Don't forget that. He's a fucking freak. Don't also forget he sniffs children. I don't understand what that's about. He's kind of he's a weirdo. Got that going on. House Select Committee finally admits to what we've known all along. Democrats trying to stop all the people that are actually going to hold them accountable and fix the country. They're lying to you again. And Beetlejuice was pretty fucking cool. I really like that movie. I just love Beetlejuice, period. I even watched that cartoon. Did you guys watch that cartoon, the Beetlejuice cartoon? I wanted another Beetlejuice movie so bad that I watched that cartoon, and I love that fucking thing, man. It was awesome. So that's all I got for all the different shit that happened while I was off that I wanted to talk about. So now either old boy or Andy can go. If Andy wants to go next, actually, that would be perfect, because you can touch a little bit on what I was talking about the end times and what you think about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I agree with you as well. And this is how it is, man. If you sit down, even if you're not a Christian, you don't believe, if you sit down and actually read the Bible and you start looking at the end times and you actually do it as a research project, you don't have to do it to, a lot of people won't even, it's pretty funny that a lot of people, they won't even pick up the Bible and I've picked up the Satanic Bible and have done research. I picked up the Quran, everything. It's part of research and stuff. That doesn't mean that because you're reading it that you worship that, or that's. But I hear a lot of people. This is how powerful, in my opinion, that God can be. That people are scared to even pick up the Bible and read it because they're afraid they're going to get saved. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid they're going to get, feel, like they're going to get slapped around a little bit or something like that. But all the things that have been happening since, you have rivers drying up that they talked about. You have locusts. You have, the whole, Israel thing. And you just keep looking. There's more and more and more. And, you have all these theologians that, a lot of them agree on stuff. A lot of them don't. It's like anything else. Everybody has a theory. The Bible was meant, and this is my theory or opinion, that the Bible is full of parables and different things like that, man, that really speak to each individual. and their relationship. Like when you're reading the Bible, you're, reading the Word of God, and that's going to speak to you in your life. That's going to remind you of something in your life. And then you have, certain parts of the Bible that actually, talk about all of us and the things that are going on. And the end times, man, in Revelations, they talk about the serpent and different things like that, man. That could mean heads of government. That could mean all kinds of different stuff. I've heard all kinds of, different viewpoints and theories and stuff like that. But the thing is, you look past that and you don't look at all of the stuff that gets people into the debating, and you just look at the stuff that's pretty simple of what they're telling you about, like Israel, and talking about the seas drying up and just locusts, and there's numerous of things that they talk about that has happened. And it's and James will understand this, for a Christian, it's exciting. Like, we're ready. You know what I'm saying? We're excited about, the return and stuff like that. For other people, man, it can be scary, and they start reading it, and they start checking it out, and they start saying, yeah, that happened. And yeah, that happened. And yeah, that happened. But another thing is, a little bit about me. I'm what they call a demonic specialist, not a demonologist. But I took a class one time, and they had a guy that came on there that was a Satanist at one time, and he found God, or God found him, and he had changed. So he started kind of, whistleblowing some stuff, and he showed a pamphlet from the early 70s, I believe it was, or the 80s. It was somewhere around late 70s, early 80s, that was pretty much the like what their game plan was for the next like 50 years. And he starts reading it, man, and it's like, oh my God, talked about, that they were going to pretty much put anything anti-God, especially any kind of Satanism, that people of that church or denomination, whatever you want to call it, man, that they call it, but that cult, they would use the media to, pretty much fool people, to usher in their way of life, talking about, making it about you and nobody else. If you know anything about Satanism, a lot of it has to do with, making life for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the one that counts. And there's a couple different, there's a Satanist church, there's a couple different ones out there. But this one was one that they were talking about putting, people into higher positions, such as school officials, principals, talking about the presidency, talking about politics, but the social media one was what got me. I was like, whoa, how they have distilled fear in the people. And you see that, exactly what you were saying, that men's hearts will harden, and, they'll be blind to the truth. And I'm the same way. I'm like, I can't understand it either. But if these kids that are coming into, let's say the 30-year-old generation and stuff like that, the ones that are out there, they've been programmed, man, from the get-go. From starting in school, they have been programmed little by little by little by little to pull away from any kind of parental kind of guidance, and they've, paid attention to, you can walk down the street and see that that children even today, but it's even, and I'm bad at it sometimes. They're not even oblivious what's going on around them. They're in their cell phones, they're in their iPads, they're in their, laptops. They're, now they've got freaking sunglasses, so they don't even have to use their hands. All they got to do is just bam, and they're talking and they're doing this and, and all that stuff is programming people, man, to just like not look towards the things that we should be paying attention to. And that's why they are pulling the wool over people's eyes. And they want to find something. It's like the end thing, man. Like these people, the town that I, work in has a college. And I was just telling old boy today, man, that, they had out front the other day, out in the square, they were having like a shave head day or something like that, where the women were shaving their heads. Well, hey, go for it. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, I mean, if you're making a statement, I'm not going to stop you. You have the right to do that, but I can sit here and say you're a fucking dumbass, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about it, man. Like, because you're basing this on something that social media and a news station told you, and done no research whatsoever, man, to see that what they're worried about is something that they've heard. And Trump, for one thing, has spoken on this over and over and over, man, that he's not coming after your rights. What he's trying to do is to get this country back to the way it used to be, where there was some respect, man, for sex and who you chose to be with. And I mean, the list goes on, leaving the kids alone. I just was in a debate with one of these baldies, is what the neighbor next to our store was calling them. They think that children should be subjected to trans genders and homosexuals and talk about it. Not to subjecting, it's one thing. I mean, you're not going to get away from it, but to sit down with a kindergartner and first grader and talk about why they are who they are, but it got deeper than that. Like this person was trying to argue that these kids see worse on YouTube and stuff like that. Well, that comes back on the parents. That if the parents are allowing their kids to watch porn practically, you know what I'm saying, then that's on them. But the thing is, at least it's the choice of the parent to do that. They're not getting a choice when it comes to school and stuff. And this is the things that Trump is trying to, the things that we're all sick of, man. I don't care if you're trans or you're gay or who you choose to be with. But the thing is, don't force it on everybody. I have not understood yet why they feel they need to be on a pedestal and treated above everyone. So you love other men. You're a man and you love other men. You're attracted to other men. Well, if that's how you feel, then go for it, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't want to see you happy. But the thing is, I'm not going to support it either. I mean, I'm not going to run up and like take you out because you're walking with a guy. But talking about taking out, as people were talking about Biden, pardoning Hunter, some people were having fun with it on some of the local Facebook pages up here, to where they had like Hunter sitting in a, making snow angels and Coke and stuff like that, after being pardoned. And, it was funny and stuff. And this woman comes in there flipping out, man. And she's like, and literally what she said was that she expected Trump to pardon her because she was going to go get a gun. She had gotten her concealed carry and was going to, the pistol that she had was not enough shots for what she wanted to do. And she was going to go get something that she could take out more people with. Now, she's saying this on Facebook, man. So somebody turns it in to Facebook to begin with, and nothing. They didn't see anything against community standards, and but she said middle-aged white guys that she was going to just walk up and blow them away. And she's like, I don't. And somebody asked her, so well, how do you know that they didn't vote for Trump or that they didn't vote for Harris? And she just pretty much was saying that unless they have a Harris, unless they're wearing something that tells her that they're a Democratic supporter, that she was going to just, assume and shoot. And that's exactly what she said. So some people called the cops, stuff which they should have, I don't know the woman, but, some people said, yeah, she's a loose cannon. And, but she just kept on talking about being pardoned and being pardoned for this and pardoned for that. And then she came back on again and she was like, if you guys thought I wasn't speaking the truth, I don't lie. And that's, and the look in her eyes and her face, man, it was scary as shit, and it all came because, obviously the election, but also she said she was going to be the one to prove how half-assed or how one-wayed things were when it comes to pardoning people, because she was going to do all this and then expected that Trump would pardon her, but he probably wouldn't, which would show that he was an asshole or something. I don't know exactly what she was trying to say. It just made no sense. What was scary was the fact that the bitch was talking, about bringing a gun, and she was talking about coming to the square. And, I've sat in my office with the whole front of my office and branch area, the whole front of its window, so if I'm sitting in there, you know what I mean, and I don't know this person and whatever, who knows, you don't know. But the thing is, you're exactly right, man, that back when they first got Hunter on things, that's exactly what it was. They were trying to say, look at, we don't let our people get by with the same thing, or we don't let them get by with anything. We're charging Trump with all this bullshit stuff. So, but look, we're not above the law either. But then look, they pardoned, but just wait, man. Just wait until Trump possibly pardons himself, and watch how the Democrats will frickin' flip out, man. It'll be totally different. It'll be this, it'll be that, And I've even heard some of them say that they think that Hunter was not even guilty of what he did. That's what they tried to, and it's like, I don't understand some of the concepts of these people, man. It's like, and that's what's scary is the robotic way that these people are. Like, it's literally like somebody feeds them whatever they want to feed them, and they automatically take it as the truth. They automatically go with it, and it's regurgitated over and over and over and over, just like the Russian collusion, man. They said this was all bullshit. They proved it to be a big lie. And how many people each day do you see talking about Trump's laying in bed with Putin? You know what I'm saying? And you ask them, where do you get this at? Do you not think that world leaders have to talk to each other? And what is wrong if Trump is trying to hold a half, somewhat good relationship with Putin, just like he did with Korea's people? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is wrong with, with people like Putin, man? You have to almost kiss their ass to a point. You got to let them feel like they're still at least, above you or equal to you, or a little bit, like you have to show that respect for who they are. But Putin obviously is just out there, man, So people, they just, all the shit that Biden and them did, and Obama sent how many millions of dollars, man, in the middle of the night, on pallets and stuff, cash, just, not telling anybody until the next, day. Yeah, we did that because we owed them that, bullshit, man. And look at every day, each day something's different about, something's coming up each day that we're sending money to somebody. It's like they're trying to completely break us. And I try to tell people, think about it like this, man. That they hate him so bad and want to try to leave this country so shitty and broke that almost even he might not be able to fix it. And they're doing it out of frickin' spite, man. That is what part of it is. The other part of it is they would like us to have to bow at their feet. And they want to talk about that that Hitler was a bad person and that he had these people groveling at his feet and stuff like that. And what do you think that people like Biden and Obama and them were doing? Pretty much, man, anybody that, like the whole North Carolina flood, man, somebody brought that up the other day, and it was like they just totally let those people suffer. They didn't mean anything to them until the time came that they needed to start asking for money from the government. So all of a sudden now you got control over them people. I mean, if your family was fucking starving and that was the only way you could get food was to rely on something from the government, would you do it? Most likely most people would. And it's all about doing that. It's all about taking over and telling you, just like James said, what you say, how you talk, how you think, what you wear. But there is something out here, man, that just totally blows my fucking mind when it comes to how people can sit and not understand that he pardoned his son, and that's one aspect of it. The same way I got 2 boys, and I would do what I had to do, to keep them from going to jail and stuff. But also, it wasn't just about that, if it was even close to about that. Because Hunter, if you know people that have that addictive personality and they are partiers and stuff like that, there's a time that they end up really blowing something out of their mental stability with doing shit that heavy, and they get to a point that they don't give a fuck is what ends up happening. And he'll rat his own dad out to save his own ass, just like you're saying. And he's going to start saying stuff like that to people. And I believe that they're going to come at him. And, all this, you can actually, to go back to the end times, you can almost find almost all of this stuff that we're talking about is at some point when the Bible is talking about the things that we'll see in the end days. You just have to be open to understand that, just because one parable or one sentence means something that's directly, obvious. But if you really sit and think about it, it hits, a parable can talk about 30 different things, man. And even more. But people have got to stop believing the crap that started, because, man, I'm losing friends because I just, it is nobody's business who I voted for. It is that is my voice and my right to do so. And I'm losing friends, man, because they're talking all this nonsense, man, about, what I laugh about is how they start talking about the end days, just like what we're saying, but they're talking the end days because Trump's in office. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then this Project 2025, man, how many times has he spoken against that? But they just don't hear that part, man. I heard him talk about abortion and how he thought, his main goal was to give it back to the states and leave it at that. That's pretty much what he did that for. And I agree that the states should have say so in a lot more than just abortion. But what's funny is these people that are arguing the abortion shit, man, talking about government shouldn't have anything, over top of it and shit. Well, what the fuck do you think Roe versus Wade was? That's the government, man, It's like, Jesus, only because it worked out in the favor that they wanted, that it's all right, the government's in it. But then as soon as the government steps in, the state government steps in, or Trump, brings it up to give it back to the states, that all of a sudden, man, the government, shouldn't be in the middle of it. And, I do, I'm a little different when it comes to abortion and stuff because I'm a Christian and I'm pro-life. And I do understand there's circumstances that, surround it. And, that talk could be for another day. But the whole thing is, they're bitching about government. And I'm just sitting there listening, man, to this. And I'm like, how fucking dumb can these people literally be? And I am no scholar, man, when it comes to stuff like this. But obviously, you're sitting here talking about you don't want government in the middle of making choices for your body. But yet, that's exactly what it's been the whole time, pretty much. And then they say, this is the one that got me. We think that each man or each boy, once he's through puberty and stuff, should get a vasectomy. And then from that point, when he's grown enough into a man to be able to birth a child and take care of it, then you reverse the vasectomy. Okay, hold on a second. So isn't that doing something to a man's body? And you're saying that he shouldn't have a choice. This should be put into law. But yet you're out here on the other corner. You're screaming that on this corner, but the other corner, you're screaming, my body, my choice. So what the fuck, man? It's the same thing. And then on top of that, they act like because if you give a man a vasectomy that he's not still capable of fucking, not all of us, but I'm saying the ones that are. Because that's a mental state, man. That's not anything to do with having a vasectomy or not having a vasectomy, but they really think that'll cure all that stuff. That is what I just heard 2 days ago on the square in Gettysburg, is give men vasectomies. And like, now you get this shit at, man. There's no way that you can even believe your own damn self, man. But it's just, we've tried to accept in this country to give everybody, difference and versatility and, to speak the way they want to, man. I remember back in the day, it was done through music and it was done through a way of life such as, the hippie generation and, stuff like that. And you had different people, that, you had the greasers. I mean, think about all back, in the 50s and shit like that, man. But there was never a time that we had people that do things just because it's the cool thing to do. I mean, some do, yes, but I'm saying somebody told me yesterday that this is how it is. The gay, people out here, the ones that are really quiet and you don't know, you may know that they are, but they keep kind of low key, just like we do with our wives or in relationships and stuff. We're not out here like flaunting it and yelling at everybody like that. The ones that are gay, that they're happy with the life they have and they're doing, they're just moving on. They have a job, they do what they do, and they're not out here. And then you have these ones, man, that are out here that have, everybody's got to know that they're, a lesbian. And it's like, really then that is just for show. It's just for show. And she said, I work at the school system, for the school system. And she said 90% of the girls at some point have to go through, or all of them go through the phase where they think that they are attracted and want to be a lesbian, And she said it, and it's funny because you can watch how they go from moderate dressing to all of a sudden, looking like a boy and cutting their hair and stuff like that and everything. And then after a year or two with that, if even that long, they go back to, their normal self. And I just don't understand it at all, man. I don't understand why they cannot see that not only do they believe some of the wildest shit out here, but on top of that, to do the things that they do and really think that it's acceptable. And I think it all goes back to the point of, you have evildoers out here that are trying to push people into spots that will definitely, pull you away from the good things. You got people out here that no matter what, they don't want to see anybody succeed, and that's just how they are. So you got that influence. But the thing is, it's all about the money, man. It's all about the power. And that's exactly why the media, a lot of them hated Trump, because they would get paid, man, by Democrats for so many years, man. They were getting this money and shit. And these little, extra prizes or extra points or extra something back there, something that buttered them up all the time to kind of, bullshit the rest of us out here. And then you had somebody that come in that they couldn't do that with, as in going back and forth with the media and stuff, the big guys in the media that own the media companies and shit. So, you had a guy come in that didn't need money, and he wasn't going to give any money either. And that's why, that was a big reason, because they knew their time was about up, man. And America spoke. And what I'm most frustrated with is the fact that we bitched and stuff a little bit when Trump lost. And yeah, we had the January 6th, which I still think was a complete fucking setup on most of it. But then kind of after that, it kind of died down to where it was just bitching back and forth with people online. Nothing have I ever seen people act the way they are, man, right now. People that have been in relationships and marriages for years, the women are divorcing their husbands because some of them didn't even vote, and they're fucking divorcing them. Like one guy asked, he said, "I'm a fucking felonist. I can't vote." He was telling his wife, and she said, "Because of you, we lost. People like you." And it's like, what the fuck was the guy supposed to do? He couldn't vote. It didn't matter if he, voted. He couldn't vote. There was nothing, But they want to talk about control women. No, they're going to control us now. Like the one black girl that said, "I'm scared to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up and I might be a slave." I mean, seriously, dude, you're going to wake up a fucking slave. It's like you're already a fucking slave if you don't know it, like the rest of us, And it's like, Jesus, man, I've heard so much bullshit, and it gets so frustrating because you just want to move on. And it's just like, I know James is the same way, man, and I'm sure old boy is. We may talk a lot of shit about people and stuff like that, but literally, even me, if Trump came out and pulled some kind of crazy shit, man, that went after people for just no apparent reason, I'm a Christian. I'm going to stand up for people, and I'm not going to let people be taken out for just any reason at all. I wouldn't allow a Hitler thing to happen, which I don't, probably shouldn't even use that, because somebody will try to twist it in 20 different ways. But the thing is, I've got friends that have some trans children, and I told him, I said, "You guys really think that I would allow people to run up and beat the fuck out of them in public for no reason? Now, if this your daughter or son, whatever they consider themselves, is out here and they're hanging their shit out and they're, acting fucking nasty in front of a kid, and the father jumps up and slaps them, I'm all about that." You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be that way. But if they're just walking down the street being whatever and they get jumped or something, I'm not going to allow that to happen. And they couldn't believe I said that because I voted for Trump. And I'm like, Do you guys understand how much you've forced in our fucking faces in the last how many years? And it's never enough for them. We could literally, they want us to be the ones that stand back and let them, do what they want to do. And if we allowed it, man, it would not surprise me if they would start allowing public sex. I've heard that one come out a couple times. Like, we should just be all right with that. Well, go read your Bible and tell me what happened before the flood and stuff and what was going on and why God decided to flood it and kind of a redo. And it always goes back to the same, everybody's yelling, history repeats itself. He's going to be Hitler. Yeah, history's repeating itself. Pick up the Bible and read about Noah and tell me what that's saying and tell me if it isn't repeating itself for sure. But then there's those other little things that are in there, man, that point right at the fact that I think that we are absolutely living in times that could be the end. If nothing else, we'll destroy our damn selves the way things are going. But anyway, that's about all I have to say about it. I don't think Biden done anything different than what any of us would do for our children. And, but the thing is, you got to look, like you're saying, you got to look deeper, man, because he did this to save a lot of people's asses, because he probably knows that Hunter, he wouldn't be able to control him, or hasn't been able to. So why does he think all of a sudden now that, he's going to be able to control him? Oh, I'll get his ass out of jail off a couple gun charges and shit. Ooh, he'd probably got fucking probation anyway, but a lot deeper. So anyway, I'll throw it over to old boy and let him rap about it a little bit.
Fuck, I was about to fall asleep. Beetlejuice was actually pretty good. Part 2, I was going to get into that first. Except the ending was kind of a little weird, but it was good. It was actually good to see that movie. I just think they waited a little longer than they should have. They probably should have been 10 years ago, like they've been talking about. But COVID happened. They were supposed to make it 5 years ago, and it happened. And yeah, I used to watch Beetlejuice, the TV show. I actually still do. One of the channels I have, it has the old Beetlejuice cartoon show, so I watch that once in a while. I wanted to get into that because honestly, I don't give a fuck about what happened with Joe Biden. You two to sit there and say that if it was your son, here's the problem I have with it. I agree with what you're saying. The motherfucker Biden said he wasn't gonna do it. And I get it. I know why he did it, but it's pretty sad when my governor Newsom is pissed about it, dude. He fucking said something right. I was reading about it while you were talking. He said, you fucking said you weren't going to do that. That's what the problem is. He lied to everyone. And you know what? There's nothing anybody going to do about it. I knew it was coming. I'm not surprised. So that means if your kid kills somebody, you'll let him go? He'll still pay. In your Bible, he'll pay that way. Remember that. Mm-hmm. Your God don't believe that, though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm talking about he'll get his in the end. It doesn't matter. But I'm sorry, if my kid, I'm different. If my kid killed somebody, I knew it, I wouldn't. Because you know what? They're going to get judged anyway. Like you said, if you believe in God, God's going to judge them. And he's going to judge you for not doing what you were supposed to do. The point is, what happened now with Joe Biden, whatever Trump does, and I have to agree with James on this, and people are going to be surprised about it. Don't be mad when Trump does what he does on January 20th. He's already said he's going to. This opened the floodgates. This is why some of the Democrats are not happy about what Joe Biden's doing right now, because they know what's coming now. Trump's going to, a lot of these people who are thrown in jail on January 6th are going to get, he's already talking about doing it. He's going to pardon them. He's probably going to pardon himself. So now, and I'm going to be honest in what I think. Here's an opinion that I'm starting to think. I think Joe Biden's pretty much sabotaging his own party. They got him out. All he did, if you look at it after he got out, was talk shit about Trump supporters, knowing that, 2 weeks before the election, start saying how they're idiots and they're garbage, knowing that was going to piss him off. Kamala Harris criticized DeSantis for how he was doing the hurricanes. The next day, Joe Biden corrected her and said she was wrong, and he was listening to everything and doing what he was supposed to do. That made her look bad right off the bat. And then there's rumors they both had voted for Trump, and they had the red suit on and a red tie. And then the next day Trump won. He was already happy about it. I believe, and I'm not going to be surprised that Trump knew this was going to happen. And, there's nothing he can do about it. And we talked about this before. I'm not going to get into religion because, again, we all have different beliefs. I believe a lot of it is we're going in a bad path one way or another. And I think it's got so bad you can't believe anything anymore. It's all misinformation. If you try to say one side, you're very mistaken because I can prove it on both sides of it. But the one problem I have and what I have seen, I have to agree with some of the stuff you both are saying, is some of these people are going out of their mind, threatening to kill. If you voted this way, you're no better. I have seen that, so I can witness that to extreme to that is true. I have seen people flipping out and divorcing themselves be over this, and that is true. I have seen that. 2006, after Trump lost, I have a guy who's a Trump supporter who constantly to this day tells me that they were going to get revenge over that, and told me that all Democrats are evil, and you think what James has to say about stuff is 20 times worse. So that's where I'm trying to say that I've heard this from people on that and it's every bad word you can ever think of. But the point is, I see a lot of hate altogether, and it's coming from that. I hate to say it because I'm an independent. I've had people mad at me because I didn't vote for Kamala Harris, and too damn bad. I didn't vote for Trump, but I didn't vote for her either. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. You're not going to tell anybody what they can believe and who they vote in. And that is Andy's right he doesn't have to tell you who the fuck he voted for. James is going to tell you. That's one thing I'll tell you. James doesn't lie. He'll tell you to go fuck yourself too. But James also agrees if you don't want to say who you voted for, that's your damn right. If you voted for Kamala Harris, it doesn't mean I have to know that you did. I don't care if you did or not. It's none of your damn business. And what's happened is they've made it where politics have become like the new civil war. And if you think about it, we are fighting a civil war. And it's not what everybody thinks. We're all out there with guns. It doesn't have to be like that. It's all different now. It's all being done through social media. One side of this, one side that, the right, the wrong, and the left. Think about it. The red and the blue, the left and the right. Think about what they're doing. And the funny thing is the 1% still getting rich. They don't care about me, you, or James, or who we vote for. In the end, they'll just get you pissed off at each other to the point where they get you out in the street fucking fighting each other and hitting each other. And, they're just making another way of finding to make money off you. And this is the truth. Because in the end, this has been going on for thousands of years. They just find different ways to keep it going. Sorry. I hate having a phone sometimes because then I get text messages. I apologize to my live audience. But that being said, I have to agree with this one. It's kind of surprising. You're going to hear old boys agreeing with Hershey and racist Andy. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I am on certain things, not everything. I want to reinforce that. I do agree with what I've been seeing lately. Is Andy is right. There's a lot of people attacking Trump supporters. There's a lot of people who are saying they're evil and they're racist, and even people who didn't vote for Trump are getting attacked. People who didn't vote at all. I've seen this, and it's to the point where they're not going to sleep with men anymore. And they're not going to do this. But I'm going to be honest with you. Just like you said, it's a fad. And a year later, they change it to something else. And most of these people, just like all these people are going to move away. A couple of them did. Johnny Depp What happened? Where I thought Whoopi Goldberg was going to move away. Rosie O'Donnell. What the hell happened? None of them. Clinton, I'm going to move away. They didn't fucking move. They're full of shit. They fucking lie so your dumbasses will go vote one way. You know what? That's what they do. And this is why you when you go to vote, just like James says and what I've been saying, you got to know what the fuck you're voting for and who you're voting for and why you're voting for it. Don't be because somebody go, well, we'll give you free phones. I'm going to go vote this way. Or nope, I'm going to do it for the church. No, you read because what's going to happen in your life in the next 4 to 8 years. Go the bills you're going to vote on. Please read the whole fine print because there's stuff they hide in it so you don't fucking see it. Oh, yeah, we're going to give money to the schools. And then down on the side, we're going to tax you 1 to 2% of your house and your gas and all this other shit. And tickets for movies and all that. They'll fucking add it in there. Trust me, this is how they do it. They're sneaky. And the sad thing is, some people don't even know who the president is now. The guy was in the rainforest and got lost. I don't know if you guys saw that. Joe Biden was talking first person, the president to be in the rainforest. He walked off and they played the Jurassic Park song because he just got lost. And they should have just done that. He should have just kept going. Because I don't hate the guy. He's not doing anything. But it is kind of funny. He's doing stuff right now. He knows how to pardon his son. So what the truth is in my opinion, is that him being old didn't stop him from what he's been doing for the last couple weeks. And he really knows what he's doing. So my personal opinion is if they're going to do something, and I heard they might impeach him over this because Hunter Biden hasn't gotten sentenced for some of the stuff he pardoned. They said you can't do that. I think what should happen is, and what I think is going to happen now, because he did this stupid shit, they have an excuse now to put Kamala Harris in for the next month so they can pass them fucking laws that they want to do. And I think that this perfectly set them up for what they want to do. And what because they can hurry up and stack the courts before January 20th, because they want Biden to do that right now, and he hasn't done it for some reason. So now they have a reason to screw him because Newsom was his buddy, and Newsom's turning on him. So is one of the House leaders is turning on Biden now because of this, and so did a couple other. Pelosi has said something about it. This was bad because they know what Trump's going to do. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know why he did it, knowing that Trump, he said all this shit about Trump. And this is true. He said all this shit Trump was going to do, and he did the exact opposite of what he said he wasn't going to do. I'm not going to pardon my son. Well, when Trump was talking in the debates back in 2020, he called him a liar. He wasn't fucking lying. I hate to tell you this. Trump told people he was going to do this, and he fucking did. So, you know, what was crazy is people calling him a liar about the Russian thing, that Vladimir Putin didn't want him to win. He wanted Kamala Harris to win. I don't know if people have been paying attention to that. That's what he said. Now he's talked to, well, there's rumors that he hasn't even talked to Putin. He's tried to, and I think Putin's to the point where he doesn't give a fuck what anybody says right now. Joe Biden giving missiles to Ukraine kind of didn't help with that situation. And I don't know what's going to happen with that. And it's a sad situation because Vladimir Putin has done what he's wanted to do for the last almost 4 years now, about 3.5. Just as soon as Biden got in office, he hurried up and attacked Ukraine. So he's been doing whatever he wanted for 4 years. Even if we stop it, there's going to be so much hate that we're never going to be able to do anything. It's still going to just go back and forth. And all I'm going to say is this is what they want. And they're getting a good show. We're all falling for the show. And the sad thing is that there's going to be the only person that's not going to be winning is all of us. We're going to be the ones broke. Here's one of the crazy things, just to say, one of the Democratic House, I think their senators said it, when you're going to pardon the American working class man and women, when you're going to pardon them. So, I mean, that should tell you where some of these people were looking at this. This was bad. And this is coming from an independent voter. This isn't going to help your party in 2 years, because there's going to be, every 2 years the Senate and the House. Don't be surprised you lose again. It's you're going to keep pushing these stupid laws, just like Bernie Sanders have been saying. You forgot about the middle class. You didn't care. That's why you lost. And he's one of the biggest liberals you know. He said it. So you don't even listen to him anymore. You think you know better. The middle class is what runs this country, and people don't need to realize that. We are the ones that go work. We're the ones who bring in the money. It's not the 1%. And I'm not saying the lower class don't do nothing. They do. They bring money in. They just don't make as much. But the middle class does. And that's where the money's coming. And we're the ones that are going broke because you can't eat and can't even pay your rent. You got to do one or the other. You either are going to pay for your rent and you're going to starve and buy top ramen, or you're going to not pay your rent and live in your car. I have people in California making $85,000 in LA County and they live in their car. That should tell you how bad it is. And actually, it's not a bad idea if you think about it, because you can just go wherever you want. But you have to realize when you're doing that, you're living in a car. I don't care how comfortable it gets in the car, because I've seen these motherfuckers making beds out of their front seat. They put I don't know if you ever seen it. I don't know. You guys probably watch these guys. They live in the car to save their money. And they'll pull out the seat and they'll put bedding in it and they fucking put their feet through the fucking back seat. And I'm like, fuck all that, dude. If I was going to do that, I'd just go get a van and make a bed and live in that motherfucker. What's the point of having a house? In my personal opinion, look at Musk. He never even he has one now. It's a small house, but he didn't even fucking lived in his office for 10, 15 years. Fuck, it's not worth it. Buy a house no more. Like James, if you live in the middle of the fucking nowhere, that's good. He has orchards. He can grow whatever he wants out there. Fucking weed, whatever he wants, dude. That would be cool. Then he's got the ultimate place, man. He lives out in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have to fucking deal with people. That's like a dream. I kind of agree with that. I have to agree with James on this. I don't hate people, but me getting more well known, I'm kind of agreeing with what he says. You got to get him fuck away from some of these people. They're crazy. And I don't care if you're what you fucking believe in. There's just people who are crazy and they don't give a fuck, And that's all I was saying about that is I don't want to get. They talked so much about politics and religion. I don't need to get into it. I don't need to sit here and argue back and forth with them all the time about what I believe and what Satanists believe and Muslims believe. That's what you guys want to believe. I can't change it. You're going to believe one way. It doesn't matter if I had the proof. You're going to say something different. You're going to counter it with something you have. That's why that's why we don't do it, and that's why I don't argue with them. I know what they know, and they know what I know. I will tell you this: I have never heard that I've tried to put people in the government, bro. There's probably, I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot of people who believe in what I believe in, and they do it in a different way than I believe. Mm-hmm. And they really do believe that there's money and power you're gonna get from doing what you're doing, and in the end, that's probably not what's gonna happen. And that's the way you want to believe. I can't argue what they believe. There's people who believe that in every religion. But there is some weirdos in mine, and there's bad people in everybody's religion that do some dumb shit. And that's just how it goes. And it's sad. It's sad that people really would get so worked up to who you vote for, who you believe, and who you sleep with, and where you bed at night. And people are too worried about that. The only thing I'm going to say is it's a free country, and it's not free to just people who want to be comfortable because of what they believe. Now, I'm not advocating for people having sex in public. That's not right, and I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. I have to agree with both of them. But this is our culture in America. In other countries, they don't really have the same opinion as we do. There's nude beaches in France. There's people who walk around nude. They have a different way of thinking than we do. I'm not saying I agree with it or I don't, but they do that. We don't live there. That's not our business to tell them how to live their life and how to live their country. But we live in a country where you're not supposed to be walking around nude. There is nude in Collins. I can't say it. Nudist Collins. That forget it. Where people walk around naked, and it's legal, but that's what they do. They have their own place they go, and nudist camp. Sorry, that'll be better. I'm sorry, I couldn't get that word out. Damn it. But they have their own way of life. Now, what my opinion is, and this is what I'm going to say, is maybe it's just not working anymore. Maybe that there's so much differences now. Maybe that trying to get along doesn't work anymore. I mean, I'm not saying advocating having wars or anything, but maybe we should just go do our own things. Christians should go do what they got to do. Pagans got to do what they're going to do. Trans do what they want to do. Gays, and I'm not saying separate. I hate to be that way, but maybe we all go in our own worlds, just go do our own thing, and would be a lot better. But I mean, it would suck. It had to be like that because that's segregating everybody, and I would never go for that. But maybe it's just not working anymore. We have so many differences, and maybe that's just too many differences now. When you have a free country, you're allowed to think of any way you want. And just the problem is now there's just so many people have so many different things, is maybe we still have to work and do stuff like that, but maybe do our own thing, guys. Like, I'm just giving a suggestion. I'm not saying I'm advocating it for it, but it just seems we don't get along. And I'm not, and sad thing is I get along with both these guys. They're both Christians. I have no issues with them. I have my opinions on them, on their opinions, but I don't hate them. I could live right next door to them. It wouldn't bother me. I don't care. That's their beliefs. But there's a lot of people who can't, dude. Like, they would hate each other. Like, you could put somebody else, alternate person in here, and they'd be fighting up a storm right now. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. You know what? In the end, I'm going to come home, go to sleep, watch TV, go to eat. I'm not going to worry about what anybody thinks about me because they don't pay my fucking bills. And if you don't like it, go suck a dick. And that's all I got to say. I hope you guys like the show. If anybody else has to say anything, go ahead, James. If you want to finish it off, you can go ahead, or unless you want me to finish off the show.
Yeah, I'll say a few words real quick. What Andy was speaking about with the Satanism thing is the actual satanic religion, the Church of Satan, the Luciferians, the ones that actually worship Lucifer. See, the problem is with Satanism, you got it's split in two. You got two groups. You got the actual Satanists, who are the Luciferians, who worship Satan. They worship Lucifer. They're the ones that are actively trying to destroy Christianity and destroy the country. Then you have what I think Old Boy actually is, which is they call themselves Satanists, but they're not actually Satanists. He's more like an atheist, pagan kind of dude than an actual Satanist, because he doesn't worship Lucifer. He doesn't believe in God or the devil. Or if he does, he thinks it's bullshit, that the Bible's not true, or some such nonsense. It changes all the time. I don't exactly know what the fuck he believes. But I'm pretty sure he's not one of the Luciferian Satanists, which is the actual Satanist. See, you got two groups. You got people that wanted to be Satanists because they're goth people and they think it's the cool thing to do. But they don't want to worship Lucifer because they don't even believe in God. So why would they worship Lucifer? They don't even believe in Lucifer. So they want to call themselves Satanists for the shock value, but they don't actually believe in Satan or Satanism or the tenets of it. See, Andy was talking about they believe they're their own God. That's one of the tenets of Satanism, that you are your own God. Also, do what thou wilt. That's part of Satanism too. That's what Andy was talking about, that everything's about you. Don't care about anybody else. Focus on yourself. You are your own God. Do what you want. If it feels good, do it. We've all heard that bullshit, right? That's Satanism. That literally comes straight from the Satanic Bible, comes straight from the Church of Satan. That's the Luciferian version of Satanism. Old Boy, unless I'm wrong, and he can correct me if I am, is not that brand of Satanism. He's the bullshit Satanism that is actually pagan, that isn't really a Satanist, but calls himself a Satanist for whatever reason he does. But it's not.
There's three different Satanisms. There's Levian, Anton LaVey are Satanists too. That's a third version of it. He's the one who made the book of the Satanic book Bible. Not the the Luciferians are not them. They're different.
But he believes in Lucifer as well, though.
No. Anton LaVey believed that all it was he believed that he was a god, pretty much, and anything about the church and sinning he'd sin as much as you could, but yeah, he pretty much was like an atheist, but he believed in magic and stuff like that, but he believed anything against the church. He was like the opposite of church. That was like, there's three versions of what you said. There's the Satanists who do not believe in the devil, they just believe they're a god. Then there's what you just said, and then there's rogue people who have they just have their own beliefs. Like I'm kind of all three in one. I have beliefs in all in a lot of stuff, but I don't go out and get on my hands and knees and hope that the world dies and kill Christians. I'm not like that. I just don't care. And I don't care if you care. That's just my belief. I just don't. It's not my worry to worry about if you care, or I don't really care if you do. That's just the way it is. But yeah, there is people who actually believe that there is Lucifer and they do things. But I've actually met people who believe in Lucifer and they don't. They think the same thing about they hate pedophiles, they hate rapists, and they hate. Here's the crazy. There's people who are Satanists that voted for Trump. So and I know a couple of them. That's kind of the trippy thing. There was actually a couple people I know who voted for Trump who are Satanists and Luciferians who voted for Trump. So I don't. That's why I'm saying I don't really categorize myself. I categorize myself as I believe that in like a little bit of everything. Pagans are a lot different. When we had Tiger Bomb, he was a pagan. That was the guy who believes in Thor. That's what heathens and pagans believe. They believe more than the Nordic pagans. They believe in more of the Thor and Odin and Farah. I'm probably ruining the name. Sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's religion. That's what pagans are. Those are people who believe in the Nordic kind of religion still, and that's what Tiger Bomb was. He was one of those people. So no, I'm not pagan. Pagans because to you I'm pagan because I don't believe in God, and that's what you guys believe anyway.
Well, I say
not
pagan because pagan. That's what you've referred to yourself as in the past.
Yeah. If you guys, Bomb, I would be pagan. I would be pagan, but
isn't even really Norse or anything like that. Because he kind of made up his own bullshit religion. We talked about it on the episode with him. You know, I thought that was kind of fun because I was like, you realize that what you're saying is bullshit, right? Like you made this up, so it's obviously not true. You're telling me that you made this religion up, so the whole religion you're talking about is horseshit because you literally just told me you made it up. So how can
was Dragon? That wasn't Tiger Bomb.
Oh yeah, I'm getting confused. Yeah, Tiger is Norse. You're right. I apologize, but you're absolutely right. I'm thinking of the other guy, Dragon. He's the one who made up religion. Yeah. And it's like he was talking about it, and I thought it was funny because I was thinking, how are you sitting here calling this a religion and placing your eternal soul on the line here when you know you made it up? You know it's bullshit. You know you invented it yourself. So if you invented it yourself, there's no way it's true. You see what I'm saying? It didn't make any sense. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm just saying that as a point of actual fact. You know what I mean? Anything you make up yourself is bullshit. Period. You know, you can't say, oh, this is the true religion. Well, how do you know? Because I made it up. Well, wait a minute. If you made it up, then there's no way it's real. So you made up God? That's what you're telling me? You know, it's nonsense. A lot of this stuff is nonsense. That's a problem. And like when you look at Satanism, you're saying now there's three. Okay, I was talking about two. There's a third one, but the third one's kind of the same as the other one. But that's cool. We'll have three. There's three different versions of it. The official version of it, the one that is the official recognized Church of Satan. Everything Andy was saying is 100% true. That they did and that they are actively trying to do. You know what I mean? But if you're just talking about the guy down the street who thinks he's a Satanist, who doesn't believe this but does believe this, or whatever kind of bullshit like that. That can go on forever. I mean, there's all kinds of people that believe all kinds of stupid shit. I think Satanism in general is not very smart because we know how it ends. I mean, it's not like they're disputing the book. They're not disputing that God is real. They're not disputing that the world's going to end. They're actively trying to work for that side. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about that version of Satanism. They're actively trying to work on Lucifer's behalf so he can defeat Christ at the end of the world. But we all know what's going to happen. God told us what's going to happen. So it's like, why are you arranging yourself or aligning yourself with the losing side? It's like you're Marty McFly and you go back to the future and you find that sports almanac and you know who's going to win every game and you intentionally bet on the losing team every time. What the fuck do you think's going to happen? You're going to lose. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
you already know.
But a lot of people, let's be fair, Christians they're not just, there's 20 different versions of Christians too. You have Mormons, they're considered Christians, and Catholics, and they all believe in something different. So, I mean, you believe that Mother Mary, they praise the Mother Mary, you don't.
Mormons
they
aren't
believe
the
that
same as
the
us.
Holy Spirit are all three different people, and you
Mormons
believe it's
aren't.
one.
Listen, Mormons aren't the same as us. They have a completely
No, I'm
different
talking
book.
about Catholics. I'm talking about Catholics. Catholics almost believe almost the same as you. They believe in a little bit different, but you both have your opinions on each other. It makes no sense. And because they don't believe that the Holy Spirit is one thing, they believe it's three different things, and they also believe in the praise of Mother Mary, and that's why. And they also believe the Sabbath is on. It should have been Saturday. They're the ones that changed it to Sunday. But you have Mormons. I understand they're not supposed, but they believe in Jesus, and they said that he talked to them in another, out here in the United States, and they're from another world or planet or something. But and Jehovah Witnesses the same way. They don't believe. They believe in God and Jesus, but they believe in way different than you do. It's because I lived with Jehovah Witnesses for like 10 years. Because I moved out of my parents' house, they lived there with me, and they were cool. They didn't believe in any holidays, but they didn't mind taking the money when they got paid for work. That was crazy to me. But they believed in God, but they believed in like no material birth. They didn't believe in birthdays. They didn't believe in what the hell? They didn't believe in any holidays. They didn't believe in like taking any kind of, like, they didn't believe in giving blood. They didn't, if you were dying, they didn't believe in that. You just died. And that's what they told me. But they believe in Jehovah. But then they said we were wrong and the world's not going to end like people think. And that's what I'm saying. But they're still considered a version of Christianity. I'm not saying I agree with it. And the Jews don't agree with you guys. They think that God existed, but Jesus failed the test. Because I know Orthodox Jews. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. But you guys all have similar beliefs. Muslims they believe in Jesus. What's weird.
It's the same book. We all agree that the book is true. What you're talking about is different interpretations of different parts of the Bible. Like the Jehovah's Witnesses, their beef with the rest of Christianity has to do with 144,000 of God's elect in the end times. They believe if they do what they're doing, that they're going to be one of those 144,000 that are saved. What they don't realize is that is the tribes of Israel that he's talking about. 12 tribes of Israel, so many from each tribe. That's what that is actually talking about. That's where the Jehovah's Witnesses get it wrong. They still believe in the Bible. They still believe that the way to salvation is through Christ. It's just they have a different interpretation of a part of the Bible. Same thing with the Catholics. They have a different interpretation of parts of the Bible. When you're talking Mormonism, that's a whole different thing. The Mormonism is basically bullshit, just like the satanic bullshit. It's some dude made it up, right? It's not based on the Bible. It's not based on the Word of God. It's based on this guy in basically early America that said that he walked out in the woods and found golden plates that had a brand new Bible on it, a brand new testament of Jesus Christ on it, that we could learn new lessons from God. Basically, he invented some bullshit and convinced a bunch of people it was true. But it's not the Word of God. You see what I'm saying? It's just an older version of the same bullshit you have today, with somebody making up a religion and pretending like it's real, and then it not being. You see what I'm saying? But the other stuff you're talking about, like all the different variations of Christianity, all of those people, or the majority of those people, take Mormonism out and stuff like that, but the majority of them believe in the same thing. It's just they differ on tiny little interpretations of different parts of the Bible. But they still, all that is kind of nitpicky bullshit. The important message of Christianity is not all that little stuff. The important message of Christianity is salvation through Christ. That we are all guilty of sin, we all deserve hell, that Jesus came down, died on the cross to pay the price for our sins so that we can be found righteous. That is the message of Christianity. That's the only thing that matters. All of the rest of it is nitpicky bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's not true. It's 100% true. It's from the Bible, but it's not the important part of the Bible. The most important part is salvation. That's the only thing that really, really matters to you. Because without that, you're burning in hell for the rest of eternity. You got to get that right. If there's only one thing you get right out of the entire Bible, it's that you got to get right with Christ. That he died on the cross for your sins so that you don't have to burn. He paid the price for you. It's a free gift. You accept that gift of salvation, then you're born again. You're saved. You know what I mean? That's the important part of the Bible. All that little stuff, that's the little details here and there, the different stories and all that stuff that people differ on, the different versions of Christianity, isn't really all that important in the end. What's the important part is the salvation part. That's what really, really matters.
Hey, and that's fine. If that's what you believe, that's cool. I have no problem with it. But the difference is, I'm not going to go and I don't care. It's not going to make me any difference of what you believe. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I don't care. I mean, I'm still going to be your friend. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what Andy believes. It's not going to make me anything about that. As long as you're an honorable person and you're respectful and you don't lie and you don't cheat and you're not an asshole. Well, you can't change that because I am too. But you're not an asshole in another way. I don't really care what you believe. It's not going to affect me. If you believe in a way, and as long as you can be respectful and I could respect you, I'm cool about what you believe. I don't care. You could tell me Merry Christmas, and I ain't gonna get mad. I don't know why people get offended about that shit. I listen to me. I look into the back of my thing. I'm a Satanist. I don't give a fuck. They tell me Merry. I'll say Happy Holidays back. It's not offending me, and I get it. Some people, I guess, the way they were raised, and I get it. If you're raised a certain way, you're going to be a certain way. You feel you can't. I'm not going to down you. It wasn't. You don't. You're raised that way. You feel that you're getting offended. You know what? People are not going to like you. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters what you believe. There's just going to be some people you're never going to get along with. Do you think that people like me? Probably not. There's some people who do. The point is, it's the people who do it matter, not the people who don't. That's all it really comes down to. And I don't care if they talk about whatever they want. It's not offending me. I mean, we got getting some heated things, but that's it's the way the show goes. Next day, we're talking about shit. 10 minutes later, it doesn't bother me. I've known them too damn long. And that's just, I want people to realize, to watch this. I have a whole different opinion in both of these guys right here. They're pretty similar. James a little bit on a different than Andy is. Andy's just he's a Republican. And James is really into politics. I am to a point, but I know what I'm talking about to general. I'm not like James is really into it. Like, he watches it all day like it's nothing, but I watch a little bit just so I know what I'm talking about. So, but I don't get offended. I don't get why people get so mad, and it's probably because, like I said, it's what they're getting taught now. It's not right to believe in something else. You're doing exactly what you're saying they're doing to you. You don't want you're mad because they don't. You're saying they're not listening to you, but you're not listening to them either. And that's what the problem is. We have a lot of people who just can't sit down and have a conversation anymore.
I'm not mad. Don't get that twisted. I'm not
general.
mad because they're not listening. I think it's sad that they don't listen, because they would know the truth if they listened. You know what I mean?
Well, bring a horse to water doesn't mean they're going to drink it.
That's very true. And that's the part that I don't understand. How somebody can go through life being lied to and being wrong, And even when you prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, they just can't see it. They don't understand it. And that's sad to me, you know? And you said that like you're not offended, you know, and that you're not going to hate us. Well, I don't hate you either. I'm not upset with you because of what you believe.
Oh, I know you don't. I'm showing you in general how people think.
I'm sad.
They think everybody gets mad.
I'm sad because of what you believe. You know what I mean? And I'm not breaking ground here. I've had this conversation with you off camera many times. We've had it over the years. You're my brother. I love you, man. I'd take a fucking bullet for you. You know what I mean? And it makes me sad that you're not on the right team. You know what I mean? To simplify it for everybody, it makes it. I'm sad about it because I love you and I don't want you to burn. You know what I mean? And I love you enough that I'm gonna keep trying to save you throughout time until you're dead. And you probably won't ever listen to me, and that's okay. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna try. You know what I mean? Because shit, if you were in a burning building, I'd try to pull your stubborn ass out, even if you didn't listen to me.
But the problem is, see, the thing is I have with that is I don't push my belief on you either. There's the difference, and that's the issue I have. Not I'm talking about with general that if you even said Christians do, and I don't care one way or another to save you. If you care, that's what you're supposed to do. That's fine. That's fine. But there's people who overdo it, and they won't get the word no and keep doing it. And you've said it yourself. And I don't care. It's not going to bother me. But I'm not going to sit there and say, well, you better believe in Satan. You better hate God. I don't do that. And that's the issue I have with a lot of religions, because it's the opposite.
Well, I think the problem, brother, is that too many Christians come at this thing from a air of superiority. You know, like I'm better than you, so you need to listen to me. You know, and that's just not the case, man. Like being a Christian doesn't mean you're better than anybody. It just means that you're forgiven. You know, I'm just as big a piece of shit as everybody else. You know, that's the thing that always cracks me up is people say, "Well, you're not a Christian. There's no way you can be a Christian." I've listened to you talk and you cuss and you insult people and you do all kinds of crazy off the wall shit. There's no way you're a Christian. Well, why does that mean I'm not a Christian? If I was perfect without sin, I wouldn't need Christ. But none of us are without sin. That's why we all need Christ. You know, I ain't nobody's fucking role model, man. I'm a sinner just like everybody else. Just by the grace of God, he in his infinite wisdom, he saw that he needed to kill my dumb ass in order for me to come back to him. You know, and that's exactly what happened. I fell off a cliff. I busted my fucking head. I drowned. I came back after what I saw. I was back. And I knew the truth. You know, but that's what it took to bring me back to God. You know, and I've told this story many times. I'm not going to tell it again on the show. But, like, I'm nobody's role model, bro. I'm not, like, the perfect guy. I sin just like everybody else sins. That's why I need Christ. I desperately need Jesus. Because on my own merit, I'm fucked. If it was up to me and how good I've been in my life, dude, I am fucked. I'm burning. I'm 100% burning. And I'm not a terrible guy. I haven't like done a whole bunch of horrendous shit. But every single one of us sins. You know what I mean? Just shit, dude. Go down the list. Have you ever lied? You know, your wife comes up and she's wearing a little bitty bathing suit or something and says, "Does this make me look fat?" And what do you say? Even if it does, what do you say? Hell no. You beautiful. Now you might think that woman is beautiful. I think my wife's beautiful. I love my wife. But I damn sure have lied to my wife before about stuff to spare her feelings. Not about something she's wearing. I never do that, honestly. But like she'll ask me something like, she'll do something to drive me absolutely batty. And she'll do it over and over and over again. Right? And she knows it gets on my fucking nerves. And I'll sit there and I'll keep my damn mouth shut because I don't want to fight. Because I love that damn woman and I don't want to start no shit. Right? So I won't say a word, but she can tell just by the way I'm breathing that I'm getting a little aggravated. And I'm sure a lot of you, if you watch these shows over the years, you can tell too if I get a little heated about something. I get worked up. But I'm doing my best, boy. I'm shutting the fuck up. I'm trying not to start no shit. But she knows I'm upset. She can tell. And she'll ask me, are you mad at me? Are you getting pissed off at me? Am I annoying you? Now, if I was going to be 100% honest with a woman, I'd say, yeah, you're getting on my fucking nerves right now. Because I'm trying to watch this fucking movie and you will not stop fucking talking to me. Or I'm trying to work on something. I got to listen to what I'm doing and you just keep talking and you're driving me fucking crazy. Now, do I say that? Most times, no. Sometimes, yes. And those times is what makes me not say it the other times. If you know what I'm saying, because she gets a little pissed off at your boy. And it ain't worth the fight. And I don't want to upset her because I love the hell out of that woman. And even though she might be getting on my nerves at that moment, it don't fucking matter. Because even if I'm pissed off, I still love her. She's my girl. You know what I'm saying? So every single one of us has lied. What does that make you? It makes you a liar. That's a sin. Now you're burning in hell. Have you ever killed anybody? Jesus said that if you look at your brother with anger in your heart, you're guilty of murder. Every one of us has got pissed at somebody. Hell, if you ever been in traffic, you've committed murder in your heart. When that cocksucker comes riding along the damn merge lane and he don't never fucking merge. He has all that time to merge. But no, he's better than everybody else. So he's going to drive all the way up to the front and then fuck up everybody's day by trying to merge then. Then you get a big cluster fuck up the front and everything bottlenecks. All because some asshole didn't get over when he was supposed to get over. And the majority of the people up front are like, fuck you, I'm not letting you in. You saw that fucking sign the same way I saw that sign way back there. You chose not to get over, fuck you. So then you got a huge bottleneck and it makes you late for shit. And every single damn one of you have cussed that sumbitch, haven't you? And got real pissed off at it.
Committed murder right before we came on.
There you go.
Traffic.
So every fucking one of you out there, you're a murderer. That's a sin. You're burning in hell. Every single one of us have looked at our neighbor and said, damn, that's a nice car. I wish I had a car like that. Or, man, look at that new zero-turn mower that guy got. Man, that's nice. I'd like to have one of those. Looked at somebody with jealousy and with wanting what they have. That's sin. You're burning in hell for that. How many times have you looked at a beautiful woman walking down the street and thought, damn, look at that shit? Jesus said if you look at somebody with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. That's sin. You're burning in hell for that. Every single one of us has committed sin in our lifetime. It only takes one. Only takes one. And you're guilty. You deserve hell. Don't get mad at me. I don't make the fucking rules. That's the way it is. So on our own merit, on our own power, every single one of us is guilty. Every single one of us deserves hell. That's what makes Jesus so amazing. Is he came here. He lived without sin. He died on that cross for you, for your sin, for my sin, for Andy's sin, even for old boy's sin. All we have to do is accept that gift, and we can be found righteous. Now, what does that mean? That means when God looks at us, he sees Jesus, not us. That we are blameless. You want to put it in terms that most people nowadays will understand? It's like you're going to court, and you got a whole list of shit that you done did, and you're fucked. You got life in prison ahead of you. But then Jesus walks in and takes the blame for all that shit that you did. Says, nah, man, I did all that shit. Put that on me. You walk out that courtroom a free man. He pays the price, not you. That's what he did for you. So the problem is that people come at this with that air of superiority, like I'm better than you because I'm a Christian. That's not the case. Like I was saying, dude, I'm guilty just like you are, bro. The only difference between me and old boy is that I'm forgiven. That's it. So I think if more Christians came at it with a bit of humbleness, with humility and love, I'm not trying to convert old boy to my religion. I'm not trying to shame him into believing what I believe. I'm trying to save the man from the fire. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And it's not because I'm better than him. It's just because I was lucky enough to get out of that sumbitch. I got out of that burning building. I want to pull him with me. I don't want him to stay in there. Now, he has a completely different idea of what reality is than I do. You know what I mean? He doesn't believe that he's in a burning building. Some people don't, you know? But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. But when I say that, that doesn't mean I harass the shit out of this man either, because I don't. If we get in a conversation about it, then he knows how I feel, and I talk about it. And I know how he feels. He talks about it, and it's all done with love and respect, and that's it, you know. And I think if more Christians would come at things that way, with love and respect and humility and genuine caring about other people, then it'd be a lot better. But the problem is, you got a lot of people that, and it's not just with Christianity; it's really with everything. You see it in politics, you see it in sports, you see it everywhere, where their team is the best team. And if you're on the rival team, then you're a piece of trash. You know what I mean? I'm a Cowboys fan, so fuck you if you're a Redskins fan. That kind of bullshit, right? That goes on. I don't know what the equivalent of that in baseball would be or hockey. I don't watch a lot of sports at all, really. But it's essentially that rivalry, that bullshit. And then there's that feeling of hey, I'm saved now, so I'm better. I'm okay. So I look down on these sinners. Oh, you sinners. But you forget you're a sinner too. You're just a forgiven sinner. It doesn't mean you stop being a sinner. You still sin. Even after you're saved, you still sin. And people are blown away by that. They don't understand that. Well, how do you still sin? You're saved. Well, yeah, but I'm still human. That's why I need Jesus. If I could go without sinning, I wouldn't have needed him in the first place. Another bunch of bullshit I hear from a lot of Christians is somehow I'm going to lose my salvation. Well, that's dumb. How you figure I'm going to lose my salvation? The Bible says that if you believe Jesus died for your sins and he's the Son of God, that you'll be saved and no man can pluck you from his hand. It says that the Holy Spirit will enter inside of you and be sealed there until the day of redemption. Now, I don't know what your definition of sealed is, but if you got a jar that's sealed and you turn that fucker upside down and you shake the shit out of it, ain't nothing coming out. Why? Because it's sealed. You have to open that seal before anything comes out of there. And the Bible tells us that seal ain't going to be opened until the day of redemption, which is after the end times. We're talking Judgment Day. We're talking the end. Which means once you're saved, you're saved. You're not going to lose it because you can't behave yourself. God knows you can't behave yourself. That's the whole point. If we weren't such fuck-ups, he wouldn't have had to send Jesus. He sent him because he knew that we can't behave ourselves because we're all a bunch of screw-ups. So anyway, I'm going to get the hell off my high horse. That's that. I'm going to throw back over to Andy, and then old boy, y'all can do your shout-outs, and then we'll wrap this puppy up. So go ahead.
Yep, I agree with it. One thing I did want to say when old boy was talking about moving to our own worlds and stuff like that, I understand where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? To a point. But I think what it is he said, why, just let the trans do this and just let these people do it. I agree with that. But the thing is, too many people are out here. I had no issue with trans people or gay people, still don't. What I have an issue with is them pushing the envelope. Like if they would just do their thing, man, and just go about their business, then they just do that. But when you get to the extreme of trying to do the bathroom shit and trying to talk to kids, at such a young age, all that stuff, that's when it gets to the point that we can't all get along. But know what that was. But anyhow, just my opinion on that. that if people would respect, you know, respect one another, and that comes with also respecting that, you know, hey, this guy's a parent and he doesn't want his kid, you know, learning about this stuff at kindergarten, you know, first grade. So that's cool. I'll have my time if that chance comes up to do it, but they can't do that. And that's where your issues come in at. But he was right on a lot of that. But yeah, definitely a center, man, every day. And like I said, I had this idiot in front of me tonight coming back from work that decided to, he was going to back into his driveway, but yet he gave no signal. He didn't do anything but just stop in the road. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa. And, you know, so then I'm like slowing down. I'm thinking deer, you know, so I get up, not up on his ass. That's one thing I don't do is drive like that. But I guess I was up enough to where he, you know, didn't feel comfortable backing up, and he's like putting his reverse lights on and stuff. And I'm like, what is he doing? So then I thought maybe there was something like a wreck because it was on the top of a hill and I couldn't see over the other side. And then I back up and I see him back into his driveway, and, you know, like, you mother, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, he could have really caused some issues there. So that right there was me committing sin, you know, and, but thank God for the cross. And, you know, to give shout outs today, my shout out, man, a couple different things. Actually, one, I want to really give a shout out to the Strasburg Ram football team. You know what I'm saying? James and I grew up in a little small town, kind of that Friday Night Lights type of deal. And when I was in school, when he was in school, you know, it wasn't abnormal for us to go to state semifinals or even state, you know, a few times. And then there was a pretty long lapse of, you know, not bad seasons, but, you know, not getting back up there. And now they're getting ready to go this Saturday to state semifinals. So if they win this one, they actually go to the big game, which is like the Super Bowl of high school football. So I wanted to give a shout out to them, you know, for, you know, working their butts off, because I've been there and it takes a lot to do that. And I wish them the best, and, you know, safe travels for everybody going to that. But also, I wanted to shout out, man, to my brother, Mike Baker, who ended up, man, getting, he is now ordained as a minister. Like, it goes a little bit further than that. Like, everybody can get ordained pretty easily, but like, he is ordained through the church, and like, for their belief, he's Southern Baptist. And, you know, that's awesome, because Mike, believe it or not, he was ministering before he moved to Virginia. And then he came up here, got in the music scene, and that kind of ruined him a little bit. But, you know, so I want to give a shout out with him and wish him the best of luck, man, with that. And very proud of him. And, you know, and also the shout out to the people out here that aren't pushing the hate and pushing the dumb shit. I don't know how else to say it. You know, I've got friends that voted opposite of what I did. And, you know, we still laugh and pick on each other and stuff like that. And we understand that it goes deeper than, you know, with each individual than just, oh, Harris was a woman, so they wanted the first, you know, woman to be president. Well, when the first woman comes along that actually is worth a shit to be in that, I'll probably vote for her. You know what I'm saying? And it's just how I feel. But I have not had one yet that's ran that I would be 100% with yet. But there's quite a few of them out there that I would definitely vote for. And but I wanted to give a shout out to those, man, that aren't spreading the hate, man, that are, you know, understanding, hey, you know, it didn't go my way this time. Don't like it, but I accept it, because nothing's going to change, you know, and trying to find, listening. That's what happened, man. I had some that freaked out a little bit at first, and we all sat down and was talking. And then they finally saw my side of things. And then I saw their side of things. And with that was a mutual respect. And, you know, we pick on each other about it. And, you know, they're at the end of the world type of deal themselves, but not as Christians. They're pagans as well. But, you know, I've got them to see some things, man. Just, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You know, had a little situation where we had to take care of entity that was on someone, and their side of things didn't quite work out. But as soon as I jumped in and yelled what I did in the name of Jesus, the woman stopped coughing. She felt like she said something jumped off of her, you know, and we actually saw a black shadow run down this hallway away from us. And so on the trip home, you know, he says, man, maybe there's something about shit that you talk about. I just can't wrap my head around it. You know what I mean? So I want to give a shout out, you know, to the man himself for showing, you know, his power at that point. Or I don't even know man, you know, but the entity that we call God, I guess we could say, because he's everything. But that shout out goes to the ones, man, that just get along. And if we got to start doing that, man, or we're going to shoot our own selves in the freaking foot, like we don't have too many toes left. And that's all I got to say. And shout out to these two guys.
I want to give a shout out to everybody that listens to our show on YouTube and Spotify, and hopefully we can get more soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It was something different. We'll try to mix up everything in the show, get you guys a little bit more humor in it, and it will get that. Sometimes it's serious, and that's fine too. You got to have both. I want to give a shout out to everyone that listens to us, all our fans, everybody who takes the time to listen to our shows. I'll give a shout out to both of these gentlemen. I want to give a shout out to Tiger Bomb and Dragon Fate and the Fate or Order of the Fate. You know, we'll wait to that fight in Memorial Weekend. Should be exciting. Give a shout out to them. Shout out to my wife. A shout out to James Hershey and his birthday. It was late, but that's why he took it off last week. So, and then it was Thanksgiving, so it was the same day. So I want to happy Thanksgiving to all you guys and happy birthday to James. I'll give a shout out to Celeste and her Drunken Oracle shop. And that being said, thank you guys, and we love you. And have a good night. There you go, James.
My shout out this week's a little bit personal. I'm going to give a shout out to my wife and to her cat. I know that sounds crazy, but here's what happened this week. My wife's cat is 13 years old. We saved it from the pound, and she loved this fucking thing. And it ended up having to go and live at her mom and grandma's house because I found out I was allergic, unfortunately, and it was causing a lot of breathing issues for me, to where I was having a lot of like chest congestion and phlegm and coughing a lot. It was not pretty. But she still got to go visit and stuff like that quite a bit whenever she wanted to, basically. And so when recently her mom almost died, and she had to go in and have emergency surgery, and she was in a hospital for a couple weeks, and once she got out of the hospital, she was recovering for about a month. And my wife went and lived at her mom and grandmother's house during all that time, and I would go up every day and visit with her to take care of her mom and take care of her grandmother. And once she was coming home, the day that she came home, her cat had like some kind of weird fit where like its back end wasn't working right. And I don't mean like its ass, like it couldn't poop. I mean like literally, its legs wasn't working right. It was like all over. And they ended up taking the cat to the vet and finding out that the vet thought it had cancer, had like a tumor back here, and it was basically nothing they could do. So they tried a bunch of different medicines, spent a fortune trying to save this damn thing, and nothing was working. So this last week, the decision was made to put the cat down. Now, my wife has never been through anything like that before. The only person she's ever lost in her life was her grandfather, and that was when she was a little kid. So she's never been around, when her pets died or anything like that. So she really didn't know death. I mean, she had like up here version of death, but she hadn't experienced it really. And she wanted to be there with the cat when it passed. She wanted to be in the room and holding the cat, and the last thing the cat saw was her. That whole deal, right? And I didn't want her to do that. I told her, you really don't want to be there for that. I've seen a lot of things die. I've killed a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things die. I've seen a lot of people die. I've held people when they died, and it's not anything that you ever forget. And that moment when the life leaves something, whether it's a person or an animal, that moment where what that person is goes away. It's like night and day. I mean, 1 second you have a human being that is sitting there living, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And it's like you're looking at a wax dummy. And animals are the exact same way, to where whatever you want to call it, their soul, their spirit, whatever it is, leaves them. You can literally see it happening. You can see that life leave the eyes. You can see it leave the skin. It looks different. It's a totally different thing. And I knew that her being there was going to be very hard for her. And I also knew that once you're there and you see that, you can't ever unsee it. It stays with you. And I knew that it would make it harder for her. But my wife is a very stubborn person, very headstrong. And even though I knew that it would be the right thing to do to tell her not to be there, and as her husband, I could have said, no, you're not going to be there. And she would have respected that. But she would not have been happy about that at all. And she would have always blamed me for that, And so I knew how important it was for her to be there in that moment. So I supported her. I said, if you need to be there, you can be there, and we'll get this done. And basically, we put the cat down, and it was very sad. What made it the most sad was my wife was just hysterically crying and hurting badly. It was sad to the point that the lady who was helping the vet, like the vet's helper, I guess, I don't know what the hell they're called, but that lady literally had to run out of the room. She grabbed a handful of tissues and ran out of the room bawling. That's how sad the moment was. And for the last 4 or 5 days, however long it's been since that happened, because it happened right after Thanksgiving, like the day after Thanksgiving. Ever since then, my wife has been very, very sad and depressed and crying a lot and all that kind of stuff. And it's been rough. It's been really hard on me because, like, I'm not upset about the cat. I mean, he was a great cat. Don't get me wrong. I love the dude. He was all right. There was nothing wrong with him. But the thing that bothers me and hurts me and is hard for me as a man to deal with is the fact that my wife is hurting is that upset and is hurting that badly, and I can't do a damn thing about it. I'd fight the devil himself for that woman. You know what I mean? With a smile on my face. Ain't no man on this planet that I wouldn't beat the hell out of for her. You know what I mean? I love her, but I can't make this go away. I can't fix it. And that sucks. That really, really sucks. Um, so the only thing I can do and what I have been doing is just trying to be there for her and do the best I can. I got the cat cremated, got him made into like this little cool paw print out of his ashes. And they took a lock of his hair, and I'm getting that put into like a vial that she can wear around her neck or whatever, like some kind of jewelry shit or something. And none of that really matters. It's just little material things, I guess. But it's me. It's my way of flailing at the fucking darkness, just trying somehow to make things better when I'm powerless to do so. And I don't like that feeling. It sucks. She's doing better than she was. She still has moments where she breaks down and cries and everything, but it's been hard, you know, because that wasn't just a cat to her. To her that was family, man. That was like her kid. That's how she honestly feels about it. And I don't quite understand that, to be 100% honest with you. I don't quite get it, but I don't really have to get it. All I have to do is understand that that's how she feels and try to be there and help her the best way I can. Now, I'm probably failing miserably at it, I imagine, because I don't understand it. But I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to approach it with love and patience and just be there. So that's where my shout out is going to go tonight, is to my wife and to her cat. Captain Jack was his name. We named him Captain Jack because we're huge fans of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. We've seen every single one of them in the theaters. We have all kinds of memorabilia from the movies. Like I have one of the coins that they were playing with in that scene where they were stealing in the first one. I actually got one of those coins. We're big fans of those movies. And so we named the cat Captain Jack after Captain Jack Sparrow. So that's where my shout outs go tonight. And that kind of leads me into my final point here as we wrap this up, and that is just love each other, man. We may believe different things. We may vote for different people. We may have completely different ideas about how the country should run or how anything is done. But at the end of the day, we just gotta love each other and cut the bullshit. You know, 'cause it's boring, man. It's boring and it's tiring and it's stupid to be arguing constantly about every damn thing. It's just dumb. I mean, there's this side, there's that side, and then there's the actual truth of the matter. And that's what we have to base things on is objective fact, not bullshit. And unfortunately, I don't have much hope that that's going to happen in the near future. Maybe one day we'll get to the point where we can do that as human beings, but I don't see it coming anytime soon. But that's my hope, is that we can someday get there. And there are moments that make me feel optimistic. There are moments where I get through to somebody and they see the truth and they wake up and they realize they've been lied to and they get on the right path. And that's a beautiful thing. And I'm the kind of guy that, like, I'm all about truth. I don't care whose side you're on. The truth is the truth. And if Republicans do something wrong, and that's the truth, then they deserve to pay for it. I'm not a Republican. I am a conservative. I'm a constitutional conservative. I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America, and I believe in conservative values. And anybody who is on that side, I would vote for if they're qualified to do the job and if they have the right policies that I believe in. It's just so happens that I've never voted for a Democrat because they're never on the right side. My vote is based on mainly where God would stand on something. And the Democrat Party never stands with God. They stand opposite God on almost everything. So that's where I come down on it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope that you liked the conversation that we had. I hope that you learned something. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. As always, it's up to you to make up your own mind. And we will catch you on the next one. Till we speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.